Hey, everybody. Happy Tuesday night. I hope you were having an amazing night. I hope it's wonderful. And um, yeah, I hope your week is off to a really, really great start. I am going to start tonight's fun with a card pull from the Super Attractor card deck because we are going to be all about attracting wonder and abundance into our lives and into our businesses. So here is the card I have pulled for tonight. It says, the universe has big plans for me, and it's time to claim them. The universe has big plans for me, and it is time to claim them. Are you claiming them? So let me know in the comments. Happy Tuesday. Like I said, we're going to be talking about one of my favorite topics, which is the magic of growing a business successfully, regardless of if you are at $500 a month or $500,000 a month. Doesn't really matter how big your business is, the fundamentals are still the same. And this is one of the things that I had beaten into my head when I was at Duke getting my MBA. And I didn't really appreciate how important this is. And hey, Patty, good to see you. But what I learned is that the fundamentals don't ever change. Just like gravity is still 9.8 meters per second squared, no matter what you do, assuming that you're at sea level. Hey, Beth, good to see you. You are back online again. Miss you, girlfriend. I will hopefully see you soon in the Masterminds group. I'm glad to have you back online. And I look forward to catching up and seeing what's up with you. So let's talk this magic sauce of mine. One of the things I see entrepreneurs and business owners do is they try to do too many things at once. Let me know if you resonate with this. You come online, you started your business, and you heard you had to do this, and you had to do a little bit of that, and you had to do a little bit of that, and you're here to make some money. So you're going to do all the things that you heard you could do to make money. And oops, somebody over here offered me a few bucks to do this other side hustle thing. So I'm going to add that into my business. And one of the best analogies I can give is there's a guy who does power washing. And he does power washing really, really, really well. And he's out there one day, and one of his customers goes, hey, dude, do you also do gutter cleaning? And he's like, sure, I'll clean your gutters. And so he gets up there on his ladder, and he cleans out the gutters. And he's like, this is really cool. I'm making extra money. The thing about the gutter cleaning is that it's a natural add-on to power washing the side of a house because chances are you're going to be on a ladder anyway. You don't need any special equipment. So the next thing that the homeowner says is, hey, dude, do you also do wood rot repair and do you do house painting? And he's like, sure, I've got ladders, I've got this, I've got that. But what he doesn't factor into the fact is, in order to paint a house, it takes a very different amount of time than that power wash and gutter clean. You've got to have more labor. You have to have, your scaffolding. You have to have, sprayers. You have to have all of this extra equipment to do this additional business. But, he said he sees dollar signs, so he takes that money. And what ends up happening is, the gutter cleaning went really well, but the painting absolutely sucked the life out of him because it took him 3 weeks to paint a house. And in 3 weeks, he could have cleaned and done gutters for another 15 houses. So he ends up losing money on this whole house painting job. So, what's my point here? Keep it simple. Keep it super, super simple. Thank you, Tish. I love my tie dye and color. So, thank you. Too often in life and in business, we try to do too many things for too many people. And we get outside of our zone of genius and we end up getting burned. Not just a little bit, but a lot. We can't control the expenses. We end up having to buy extra materials. We end up having to buy extra products. We divide our attention from the things that are the most important and the most money making for us. And we end up losing money. This happens not just in little bitty businesses, but it also happens in larger businesses. They try to diversify and they end up diversifying themselves into the ground. It is not unusual for businesses when they start to diversify and they add new business lines, if they are not super careful with how they do it and the manpower and the labor and everything else, that they end up driving themselves right into the ground. And part of that is because, you know, you're trying to compete against this other guy who does painting. Well, this guy paints every single day. He's got massive crews. They've got it down to a process, as opposed to you who don't necessarily do that super well. So, why am I talking about this? One of the things I see with entrepreneurs in particular is that we have lots and lots and lots of $1,000,000 ideas. Our problem as entrepreneurs is never the lack of ideas. Our problem as entrepreneurs is, sorry guys, lack of implementation. It's not that we don't have the $1,000,000 ideas. We have plenty of amazing ideas. What we lack is the consistency and the stick with itness to see something through to completion. That's why a lot of salespeople fail, because they don't talk to enough people to build enough relationships to get the kind of leads that they need to be successful. We just don't have the time, luxury of time to go the distance, right? And this is an important thing too, right, Beth? Because if you don't have money in your bank to give you time to practice at something until you can get good enough at it, to be good at it at scale, you may not want to do that thing. Because here's the thing, nobody talks about failure, but the reality is, for most of us, the first time we build a website, the first time we try to sell a house, the first time we try to do a thing, market a book, whatever, 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 we do it so at best, if we're lucky. If we're not that lucky, we actually kind of suck at it pretty badly. And it takes time. For me, going live was something that it was a skill that I had to learn over time. It took a while to get comfortable in front of the camera. And there are still days where I get the heebie-jeebies and I don't necessarily want to get in front of the camera. And then I make myself do it anyway. And Tish says, I'm switching how I think and approach things. It might not look like it to anyone else, but I feel the shift. I feel the shift too, Tish. I really do feel a huge shift in how you're approaching things and how you're doing things and the simplification. So what is this crazy magic sauce that I'm talking about? I'm talking about simplification. I'm talking about focusing your energy. Do one thing and do it exceptionally well. I know it's scary. It's absolutely terrifying to do one thing and do it exceptionally well. Terrifying. But here's the thing, if you can do one thing and do it exceptionally well, you're going to spend less time doing it, less effort, less energy. Does anybody like any of that? Less cost overall per widget that you deliver, and you're going to do it better. And the more you do of that thing, think the 10,000 hours philosophy, the better you're going to be at what you're doing. This isn't rocket science. I wish it were. And the crazy thing here is that simplicity is where the magic sauce is. Choosing one thing and doing it exceptionally well is important. Now, I'll give you another corollary to that. Choosing the one right thing is very important. Now, a lot of people will say, well, how do I know if I've chosen the right thing? Well, the reality is it's kind of like choosing a husband. My personal philosophy is that there are multiple people out there who could make an absolutely exceptional husband for me. I've been married 29 and a half years. I love my husband dearly. But I don't think that he is the only person out there I could have married. I could have chosen other people that would have turned out pretty darn well, maybe even better. But here's the thing, I made a choice to stick with this guy, and we've done pretty darn well at it. It's not always been easy. We've been married 29 and a half years. And I made the comment at dinner that we will have known each other 21. And he said, that's really interesting, honey, because we've been married for 29 and we would have had to have gotten married before we started dating. And I'm like, yeah. He's like, we've known each other 31 years. And I'm like, you're right, honey. So, it's not about choosing perfection. It's about choosing a good enough choice that is going to work right now and for the long term to help us meet our goals. I also have this crazy idea about husband selection that you need to choose somebody that you are compatible with. You have the same goals, you want the same things. The same thing is true in business. You're choosing a vehicle in your business, you're choosing that mechanism to make money that is going to allow you to get where you want to go. Now, are there multiple ways to get there? Yeah, you could go in an Acura, you could go in a Lexus. You could go in my 2008 Sequoia that has got 265,000 miles in it and absolutely no air conditioning. So we've been driving around with the windows up, down all summer while I've been dealing with car issues. But the reality is that 2008 Sequoia is a perfectly valid way to get there. It just may not be the most comfortable from a temperature perspective. But man, she drives like a land barge. So you got to choose the right vehicle to get you there. But here's the thing, you can choose any of several vehicles to get there. The trick is looking at your choices in front of you and choosing that one vehicle that you're going to drive. Now, mind you, I never ever say I'm going to drive that vehicle until the wheel falls off. And y'all can laugh at me about this one because I drove a vehicle, the wheel fell off. My 2008 Toyota Highlander, may she now rest in peace. I said I was going to drive that car until the wheel fell off or until, the wheels fell off. The wheel did fall off while I was driving the car because somebody over torqued um, one of the nuts. And we took that car, we put the wheel back on, and I drove it for another 30,000 miles. So I never say I'm going to drive a car until the wheel falls off again. True story. And, the reality is that '08 Highlander got me to 288,000 miles reliably. Trains, planes, and automobiles, and the big news tomorrow is a rocket, right? But here's the thing. That '08 Highlander and that '08 Sequoia have both gotten me where I've needed to go in relative style and ease. Now they're getting long in the tooth. The Highlander is no more. But here's the thing. Choose something that works and don't sit there in the car lot going, maybe I should drive that car. No, maybe that one, that one, that one. One of the things that I learned when I was at Duke, getting my MBA, from one of the faculty members at Duke, Dan Ariely, he talks about behavioral economics. If you guys ever get a chance, read the book, The Upside of Irrationality. And in that book, he talks about human nature in buying stuff. And there are some people that will give themselves analysis paralysis to death for years. Literally. He talked to people who would spend years trying to choose the right camera. A good high quality camera is, $1,000 to $1,500. It's a purchase, but it's not this massive investment that you're probably going to live with for the rest of your life. So imagine taking 2 or 3 years to choose what camera you're going to buy. Oh my gosh, right? But people do it all the time. We analyze ourselves into the ground trying to decide what camera we're going to buy, rather than buying a camera, enjoying the use of that camera for 2 to 3 years while we're deciding if we really love it and not if in the first place, are we going to just keep driving it and using it for the next 10 years? So choose a thing that is good enough. Don't worry about it being the absolute perfect latest model. Don't drive yourself into the ground. Analysis paralysis, perfectionism, these are all self-sabotage behaviors. I see it all the time. And Tish says, my next car will allow me to see the hood where it ends. I have a real hard time judging with the Hyundai Accent. It's going to be paid off before 2022. Then I get more play money again. Yeah, I've had that problem with the Pathfinder, TBH. I could tell really well with some of the cars and some of them I can't. And when I back into my garage because of the way that my driveway is, I have a really steep driveway. It's actually easier to back up the driveway than down, because if you back down, you can't see what's behind you. And we have little kids in our cul-de-sac and on bikes and trikes and all kinds of things. So I back up my driveway because I'm less likely to hit somebody if I do that. But, think about what your next set of wheels is going to be to get you from point A to point B. It may be a little faster one way than the other, right? You could be buying a Corvette versus buying, the Toyota Camry versus buying the Hyundai, whatever. But here's the thing, you have to decide on a car to drive. And the longer it takes you to decide on a car to drive, the longer it's going to take you to make money. The longer you stand in the parking lot trying to swap between cars, trying to test drive every single car in the lot, the longer it's going to take you to make money. Your decision just has to be good enough. And this is one of the crazy things that is really kind of like terrifying. What if I make a mistake? Well, fail fast, fail often. Okay, I didn't like that car. I personally just have a fail fast model. I bought a car this summer and it has not gone well. I found out that the car was in a huge accident before I bought it that wasn't disclosed to me. And it's pretty much impossible to prove that the dealership I bought it from knew. I've had the car 4 months and I have the offer paperwork in front of me that that sucker is going to CarMax in the next few days. Um, and I'm getting a replacement car for about the same payment, but hopefully a little bit less of the lemon sauce, right? So fail fast, make a decision, treat it as a learning lesson, and move on. Taking a long time to make basic decisions and then put the action into place is actually time wasting. It's a form of self sabotage. Now, there are times where we do need to evaluate reasonable decisions, but we do need to make a decision in a reasonable amount of time. Not 6 months, not a year, not 6 years. Thank you, Elizabeth. And hey there. We want to make a decision in a reasonable amount of time because that's what leaders do. As entrepreneurs and business owners, we are leaders of our own families, of our own selves, of our own lives, of our own businesses. And people are looking at us to make the decisions. And sometimes it's really crappy having to make the decisions. And I'll be honestly, every once in a while, it really, really, really sucks. And sometimes it's cool. But the faster that you make the decisions, that you take the information in front of you and you make a reasonable decision, and you make the actual decision and you execute on that decision, and you do it and you put the action in place and you choose one path. You're not driving 3 cars simultaneously, you're driving 1 car at a time. Here's the reality, you can have an entire garage full of cars, but you can only drive one car at a time. Unless you have a family member or a friend who's driving the other cars for you. This analogy applies exactly to business, right? You as a solopreneur can only drive 1 car at a time. Decide which car is the best one for now and get on the road and take that road trip and do it. Drive it like you stole it, but maybe not like my husband. You know, make that one decision. Why is this so magic? Because you stop wasting energy. If you're putting all of your energy into one thing, you're not putting energy into 100 things. Road trip, right? We're going to Tish's house as soon as the border opens. We're going to do a cross-country road trip, Tish, someday. Seriously, you get in that car and you drive it until you stole it. You waste less energy, you waste less time, and you get to that point where you're making money a lot faster. Now, obviously, you're not going to choose the beater, and you're probably not going to choose the car that's falling apart. Choose one that works well for you. Now, here's the other thing. And I mean, I feel like this is a slightly unpopular sentiment, but if you are working a full-time gig that is your full-time salary and you are making part-time money with your business, choose that part-time gig car wisely. Make sure that that gig has the ability to grow to provide full replacement income for your salary if that is your goal. And that the business model holds. When you are a business owner and this is all you're doing, and you have that luxury of time, like I've had with my business, you sometimes have the luxury of doing things that take a little bit longer or that um, can be a little bit more time consuming in and of themselves. But when you are working a full time job, which is not something I've had to deal with, I've done part time gigs on the side while taking care of kids. You need to pick and choose that car that you're going to get into wisely. How is this going to make me money? How fast is it going to make me money? How expensive is that car to drive? Does it make sense right now? If you can make the math work, drive it. If you can't make the math work, run like hell. And don't leave your daytime job in a snit, in a hurry, without any sight of income or any kind of backup plans. I'm a big believer in having faith in yourself and doing the right thing and doing all those things. But please have a backup plan. I've seen way too many people end up in bankruptcy, end up miserable, end up with a ton of debt because they didn't have a backup plan and because they left their job too soon. Those are my tricks for success. Take them or leave them. I hope that they work for you. And Tish, I'm going to hold you to that road trip as soon as the borders start to open up and COVID starts to be less of a thing. Because I think going on a trip with Tish and maybe swinging by Texas to pick up Beth could be the most fun thing ever. And Beth says, don't worry, I recognize the value of my full-time gig until I can make it a future part-time gig. Absolutely. I know you do, Beth. I see a lot of people and I see a lot of pressure sometimes for people who are trying to tell you, and I see it on Shark Tank of all places. Well, you're not really serious about your business if you're not quitting your daytime job. Y'all, for most women, that is an unrealistic expectation that is simply not going to happen. So I'm going to leave you with one last thought. We're going to need a limo and a driver. Or maybe we just need a party bus that we're going to go coast to coast with a whole bunch of drivers. It'll be so much fun. Shark Tank, yep. I do too, but there are certain things that you really have to pay attention to the messaging in there, right? I'm going to pull a card out of my deck. There's 48 cards. If you'd like me to pull you one, let me know. Let's make our lives easy and profitable. I'm not a big believer in spending money you don't have in the hope that you're maybe going to make money that you don't already know how you're going to make. And yeah, let's be sensible here. I'm all for taking risk. Lord knows every time I get in the car with my husband, it's a risk. But yeah, no unknown, unnecessary risks. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, Beth. Beth, this is one I have not pulled before, so I'm excited to see this one. I think it could be very appropriate for you, darling. Love healing. Allow your heart to heal. As you open to love, your desires manifest more easily. If this card has appeared in your reading, the fairies are asking you to have a closer look at your relationship to love. how you view and relate to love has a great impact on how you manifest your desires into physical form. When you are open to love, the barriers between you and your dreams dissolve, and you can receive them into your reality with more ease. Love also helps you be more clear about what you want because it changes your perspective on what's truly important in your life. This is a key to a clean, focused manifesting process. When you fear love or perceive it as something it's not, you push away your desires. At times, you may even feel drawn to things that don't serve you, or you may feel tempted to sacrifice your own well being in order to get love from others. But that isn't real love. Stop playing small to be accepted. See yourself as a worthy and deserving of love because you are. Let love be your guide on your manifesting journey, and you'll find your heart's desires come to you faster and much more effortlessly. Okay, let's go for the 40-second card. And hey, Jackie, good to see you. And I will get the top one for Patty after I do the one for Tish. 48. Ask the fairies to help you manifest your dreams into reality. If you have drawn this card, the fairies are inviting you to learn their sacred and very unique methods of manifestation. The fairies are masters of magic and can help you discover your own magical abilities. They have a profound understanding of both the spiritual and physical realms and can teach you how to harness your gifts to ground your dreams into tangible reality. One secret the fairies have known since ancient times: everything in this world is connected. We are never separate from anything or anyone. Therefore, the fairies love to work in community with each other, Mother Earth, the stars, and other magical beings. This is your invitation to collaborate and rely on the support of others rather than hold on to the idea of needing to do it all on your own. Also, the fairies are never afraid to dive deep and see both the light and the dark. They can help you face your shadows with lightness and playfulness, knowing that awareness leads to wisdom and healing, but at the same time, there's no need to make the journey of life all too serious. Finding that perfect balance of being willing to face what's holding you back and embracing life as a fun and humorous adventure will allow you to manifest your dreams with more ease and truly enjoy what you're creating. Okay, going to do the top card for Miss Patty Lou, who I have got to tell you guys is a rock star for doing all kinds of outreach to people and cold calling and putting together presentations and really reaching out there and growing her business. Enchanted Flight. Dare to dream. It's safe for you to take a chance. Is there a big decision you've been procrastinating on making? If so, this card is telling you that the time to take action has come. Allow yourself to dream big and go for what your heart desires. As the fairies like to remind us humans, every journey begins with the first step. In order to reach the destination your soul is guiding you towards, you must be willing to leave your comfort zone and start moving forward. You don't need to see what's waiting for you 10 steps ahead. Beginning where you are right now is enough. Even if it may feel like a risk, the fairies want you to know that it's safe for you to embrace your dreams. Don't let fear stop you. Take the leap and trust that you will fly. Well, cool, guys. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I appreciate y'all. I'm sending you lots of blessings and love. And I hope that you have the most amazing day tomorrow and into next week. Love you guys. Take care. Bye-bye.